The mudslinging began about an hour and a half ago, and it continues. First Donald Trump, now Hillary Clinton. They're both doing pretty much the exact same thing, but from different sides of the aisle. Hillary Clinton in Reno, Nevada, live here. She has slammed Donald Trump, saying his move to the middle is basically a head fake, and that in essence he is spewing a steady stream of bigotry. This as she tops yet another national poll by 10% this time. However, we begin to wonder whether this negativity and this bigotry talk on both sides may hurt these candidates. I'm joined now by former Democratic governor from South Carolina, Jim Hodges. He's been a longtime ally of the Clintons, and former Republican governor from Nebraska, Dave Heineman, who serves on Donald Trump's agricultural committee. I will start with you, Governor Hodges. It's 2016. I'm really surprised that race is once again at the forefront in such an ugly form. I mean, have we even taken a single step from the 60s?
Well, I hope we've made some progress. We elected our first African-American president, which I think was quite an important step. But let's face it, I grew up in the South, and I know dog whistles when I hear it, and Donald Trump has been using dog whistles for a long time. So I think Hillary calling him out is appropriate because, you know, I know that language, and he's using it to appeal to people's worst instincts.
Governor Heineman, she's calling him a bigot as well, articulating a couple of things from back when he was in real estate in the early days, saying that the Justice Department sued him because he was not fairly renting to Latinos and to blacks. He doesn't have a big percentage of people of color who are right now on his side at the moment. Does anything he says now, which is basically hammering Democrats, saying, you know, you guys have been in charge in a lot of the urban areas, and look what's happened. Crime has increased in some of these areas. African Americans don't seem to really have a great shot at life. Does any of that really work here?
Well, first of all, I don't believe in the name calling by either candidate. Even though I support Donald Trump, I said from day one when I endorsed him, when he says something I don't agree with, I'm going to say it out loud. Now, when you want to start talking about the issues of America's inner cities, let's dispel one myth right away. Not every white person in America is as rich as Warren Buffett, who lives in my state, and not every African American or Hispanic is poor. People of all walks of life are poor, middle class, rich, whatever they may be. But when you look at America's inner cities, Detroit, Baltimore, Chicago, these have been controlled by the Democratic Party for decades now, and they do have high crime rate. They do have failing schools, and poverty has increased. And so we need to address those issues. I'm a strong supporter that every child in America, regardless of race, deserves a quality education. The way out of poverty to a good job is through a good education. So those are issues we ought to talk about and keep it focused on the issues, not name calling.
Governor Hodges, you have a constituency in South Carolina, a big chunk of voters there who are African American. Tell us what you think of what Governor Heineman just said.
Well, I'm encouraged, not just by Dave's words, but also by Speaker Ryan and Hillary Clinton working together on ways to tackle poverty. I read recently that they were embracing some ideas where they could work together on issues of poverty. I think it's all tied into trying to improve education and workforce training, and yes, health care. Those are critical issues to our constituency here in South Carolina. But I think also to trying to move the country forward. We all have that goal of trying to get high-paying jobs and improve our economy. I think we've got to come up with some solid plans to try to get there.
Governor Heineman, I know that the state of Nebraska has certainly a lower unemployment rate than the rest of the nation. To what do you attribute that, and how can we mimic that through the rest of the country?
Well, I think the key is to focus on growing your economy. And that means you control your spending, invest in your most important resources, as I've always said, and that starts with the education of our children. You've got to lower taxes. You've got to compete for jobs all across America. I never minded competing against another state. That makes all of us better. So if you look at the federal level, our corporate rates and our individual rates are too high. We need to get them down. And frankly, at the federal level, both parties have failed to do their job when it comes to fiscal responsibility, and they need to get about about doing that in the next Congress. We've got to move in the direction of a balanced budget. You can't get there overnight, but we need to move in that direction.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We've got about 15 seconds left, Governor Hodges. These are the issues that I think a lot of Americans would love to talk about. Not dog whistles, not race, not finger pointing and mudslinging about, you know, who's more of a bigot. How do we get to that point?
Well, I think I've seen some encouraging signs recently with some of the issue papers, certainly that Secretary Clinton has put out. I'm encouraged by some of the discussion about new ways to improve education in our country, about worker training programs. I think there's some solid ideas. Unfortunately, you have to go to the websites to try to gather that information, but I do think we see some encouraging and creative ideas that are out there about how we can move forward.
Well, look, we try and be very fair and balanced here. We literally make sure we give the same amount of time to each candidate when we take speeches like the ones today. It's just kind of unfortunate that the tone is bad on both sides for the moment, but we appreciate your tone.